Hi, and welcome to the Sabbath Christian Church's online sermon. Israel had a lot of problems keeping the Sabbath. This is how God helped him. It's Exodus 16. We're going to go through that. And the congregation were on their way from departing from Egypt. And they were grumbling that they were in the wilderness against Moses and Aaron. And the sons of Israel said to them, "Would that we had died in the Lord's hand in the land of Egypt, when we sat by pots of meat and ate bread to the full. And you have brought us into this wilderness to kill the whole assembly with hunger, picking on God." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I may test them to see whether they will walk in my instructions. Will they or won't they?" They didn't want to. They really didn't want to. On the sixth day, they prepared what they bring in, and be twice as much as they gathered daily. So Moses and Aaron said to the sons of Israel, "At evening you will know that the Lord has brought you out of the land of Egypt." Yeah, sure. "And in the morning you will see the glory of the Lord, for he hears your grumbling against the Lord, and that you grumble against us, picking on everybody. No trust whatsoever." And Moses said, "This will happen when the Lord gives you meat in the evening and bread to the full in the morning, for the Lord hears your grumblings are not against us, but against the Lord." They're grumbling against God. Terrible, terrible thing. And Moses said to Aaron, "Say to the congregation of the sons of Israel, come near before the Lord, for he has heard your grumblings." Okay? And so Aaron spoke to the whole congregation, to the sons of Israel, and looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. He's teaching them. It is God here telling them to keep the Sabbath, as we'll see. "And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, I have heard the grumbling of the sons of Israel. Speak to them, saying, at twilight you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread, and you shall know that I am the Lord your God." He spoke to them, and not in a quiet voice either. They would not learn to keep the Sabbath. So it came about at evening that the quails came up, covered the camp, and in the morning there was a layer of dew around the camp. On the sixth day, there it was. And when the layer of dew evaporated, behold, on the surface of the wilderness there was a fine flake thing, fine as the frost on the ground. And when the sons of Israel saw it, they said to one another, "What is that?" For they didn't know what it was. And Moses said to them, "Is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Gather it, every man, as much as he should eat, that you shall take an omer apiece, and according to the number of persons he has in his tent." The sons of Israel did so. They gathered much, and some gathered little. When they had measured it with an omer, he who had gathered much had no excess, he who had gathered little had no lack. Every man gathered as much as he should eat. Moses said to them, "Let no man leave any of it till the morning." But they didn't listen to Moses, and they left part of it until the morning, and it bred worms and became foul, and Moses was angry with them. They gathered it in the morning, every man as much as he should eat. When the sun grew hot, it would melt. So on the sixth day, they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for each one. When all the leaders of the congregation came and told Moses, he said to them, "This is what the Lord meant. Tomorrow is the Sabbath observation, a holy Sabbath to all the Lord. Bake what you will bake, boil what you will boil, and all that is left over put aside to be kept until the morning." So they put it aside until morning, as Moses had ordered. And it did not become foul, nor was any worm in it, had been going on. And Moses said, "Eat today, for today is the Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the field. 6 days shall you gather it, but on the 7th day, the Sabbath, there will be none." It came about on the 7th day that some of the people went out to gather, but they found none. Then the Lord said to Moses, "How long do you refuse to keep my commandments and my instructions?" Not to Moses, to them. "See, the Lord has given you the Sabbath. Therefore he gives you bread for 2 days on the 6th day, teaching them the Sabbath, everything through the 6th day, the 7th day of rest. Remain every man in his place, and let no man go out of his place on the 7th day." So the people at this point rested on the 7th day. And the house of Israel named it manna, for it was like coriander seed, white, and it tasted like wafers with honey. And Moses said, "This is what the Lord has commanded. Let an omer full be kept throughout your generations, that they may see the bread that I fed you in the wilderness and brought you out of the land of Egypt." Moses said to Aaron, "Take a jar and put an omer of manna in it, and place it before the Lord to be kept throughout your generations." Worked hard. They didn't want to do it. And finally, they learned how to keep the Sabbath. As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron placed it before the testimony to be kept. Remember the Sabbath. Amen. And thank you for watching and listening.